Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Saturday, April 29th. Last weekend of April. How did that happen so fast? Time marches on, my friends. But your financial life, that's not standing still either. There are things going on. Maybe you've got some questions. If so, we'd love to hear from you. You can just go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click on the Contact Us button, and do let us know if you would be willing to come on the air. Now, very exciting. The front door of the website, we now have our next webinar for all of you to entice you to subscribe to our brand new service, Jill on Money Live. We have friend of the show, Dave Stachowiak. He is the host and founder of Coaching for Leaders. He's like a management guru. I love him because he does talk about workplace issues and also gives very practical, usable, actionable advice to situations where you are the person who is leading. Maybe you are wanting to talk to your boss about a way to lead better. He's got a lot of experience, and I'm so happy he's joining us. And that will be on Wednesday, June 28th, but only if you are a member of Jill on Money Live. Hey, guess what else? Remember how I said you'll have access to quarterly live webinars and more special content? Oh, do we have special content for you? Brand new, up behind the paywall, my interview with Gina Smialek. She has a new book called Limitless. It's like a deep dive into the Federal Reserve. Maybe more importantly, I mean, that's a great book. I read it. She is the Federal Reserve and economy reporter at the New York Times. So if you ever see those Federal Reserve press conferences, they always call on her. And she's got a really interesting background. And I think that this moment where the Federal Reserve has so much power in the economy, her insights are amazing. So you can get to that special interview with Gina Smialek by subscribing to Jill on Money Live. And you can do that right on our website. Okay, so today we are going to talk to one of you. It is Patrick from Michigan. Patrick, welcome to the program. What can we do for you?
Thanks, Jill. So I have been moved into a category at work where instead of a traditional 401k, I'm in our non-qualified plan. So based on level of compensation and all of that, I guess there's a test they run, everybody through at the end of the year for IRS rules. And I'm in a position now where I'm able to contribute greater than the maximum for a 401k, but there's a lot of caveats that come with that. What amount can go towards that account, and trying to identify whether I'm better served keeping that money there or putting additional money into that non-qualified account, or whether I should look into moving more money over to a brokerage and things like that.
Got it. Okay. So just give us a little bit of a background as to what's going on in your personal life. Like, what's the family look like? How much money have you saved? And what are some of the goals and objectives that you have?
Sure. So my wife and I live here in Michigan with our son who's turning 10. We both work full time. Annual household income is around $200,000. I'm bonus eligible in beginning of second quarter most years. We have about $40,000 in cash in high yield saving or high yield checking and savings, which accounts for maybe 8 to 10 months worth of expenses for us. And then as far as retirement goes, my wife fully funds her 403B through work. I'm looking at about $250,000 in my 401k. We're on a 15-year mortgage with about 14 years remaining, $100,000 balance there. And as far as goals go, I think longer term, we're looking at having some flexibility, maybe not having to work our kind of standard 9-to-5 jobs like we are now, through to standard retirement age, have some flexibility for consulting work, things like that.
And so for those of you listening, there are these interesting plans that exist that are non-qualified retirement plans, meaning that they don't look like that standard 401k. It is usually that you can either put in a pre or post-tax dollar amount into an extra plan, and that extra plan, there's some rules and regulations around that. The question I have for you is sort of twofold, and that is, you said you've moved into eligibility for this non-qualified plan. What's your idea around what you think the future holds? Do you think you'll stay at this company? Do you think that your income should continue to rise and you'll be able to continue to be part of the non-qualified plan? Or do you think this is a one-time only kind of deal?
No, this will be ongoing for me. So I've been with the company for 20 years. I'm not looking to go anywhere different. And it's at least for us, it's based on our standard salary. So I will continue to be in this particular program, moving forward. Again, it's the idea of what do we do with that extra? Is there benefit to that?
And talk to me about what might happen if you were to leave the company. What happens to the non-qualified plan?
Yeah, so that for us is the kind of the greatest exposure to risk. The way the plan is structured, anything that hasn't been moved annually over to my existing 401k, I receive that entire balance in full in either January or February of the following year. So if I were to leave the organization to go to a different company, if I was to kind of get a little more creative and do some consulting work on the side instead, then I would get a payout all at once, and that would count against my income for whatever year that disbursement occurs in.
Okay. One other question for you. If you stick around there and life is all good there, is there an ability for you to use a Roth 401k option, or do they just have a traditional 401k?
We only have a traditional option.
All right. I am leaning towards doing this. Okay. And I just need to know, what's your cash flow look like in terms of, with you both maxing out right now? How are things going in your household expenses from month to month?
Yeah, we're in good shape. So at this point, I think, we're looking between $4,000 and $5,000 a month in expenses, which leaves us with about $1,500 to $2,000, depending on the month. And that's in excess of the other kind of things that we're funding. So 529 for our son, obviously the 401k, the 403b. So that's excess on top of current investing strategy and household expenses.
I'm leaning towards doing this, and I'll tell you why. I think it's a good opportunity for you. It sounds like you've had a very good career at this place. Sometimes I worry about these plans, either that the company itself shuts it off or that you become at risk, right? But it doesn't sound like you're in that situation. It sounds like actually you're making more money. This is really a pretty good opportunity for you to jam up your retirement contributions, and you can afford to do it. So I don't have a problem with it. The big issue you're likely to face in the future, 100 years from now, when you actually do stop working, is that, a lot of your money is going to have tax implications. And I'm not sure there's much to do about that right this second until one of you has a Roth option. I didn't ask you, does your wife have a 403b Roth option?
No, she doesn't.
Okay. The one thing, maybe there's this one opportunity here as I'm looking through, you sent me a lot of your information ahead of time, so I appreciate that. You said you have an IRA rollover, right? There may be an opportunity that if you're using your non-qualified plan, and depending on your tax situation, I'm wondering, while you're still in the 24% tax bracket, maybe you should start converting that old rollover IRA into a Roth. And maybe that's something to consider because, again, you're going to need to be able to control your tax liability down the line. And that's probably the only place where you could do it. So that's the one thing that I would think is worth considering. Your income is going to remain pretty consistent. And who's entitled to the pension? Your wife?
My wife is, yeah. That's from a previous hospital she worked for.
Okay. I think that's really the only other thing. Is the non-qualified plan a decent plan in terms of investments?
It is, yeah. So for me, I'm about 90-10 split between stock index funds and bond funds. So I've got access to, an index for S&P, an index for total market, that kind of thing.
Let me do a few odds and ends. So yes, I think that this is a good plan to use. A couple of odds and ends. You guys have life insurance?
We do, yes.
Okay. Term life insurance?
Term, yes.
Good. And estate planning done? Wills, power of attorney, healthcare proxies?
Yep, all that's done. And we have a trust set up as well.
Very nice. Okay. I think you're in great shape. What's the mortgage interest rate?
We are at 3.375.
All right. So no paying that down early. I think you're in great shape. I think you should rock and roll, keep working, sock as much money away as you can. We'll rerun your retirement projections when you get closer. But if you can do that, you can play around with it. You're going to see you're in very good shape. I can just tell because you guys are saving a ton of money. So I say go for it.
All right. Great. Thank you very much.
Okay, if you would like to join us live, all you need to do is go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and then check the box off that says you would like to come on live. Don't forget, while you're on the website, you can always subscribe to our free weekly newsletter. And if you've got a little money to spend, check out my book, The Great Money Reset. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast wherever you find your favorite podcast. We hope we're among your favorites. Do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.